To Dr. Lucy Jones, Dr. Robert Graves at Caltech. We will recap what they had to say in just a bit. But first, we have Los Angeles Mayor Eric Garcetti on the phone. Mayor, are you there?
I am. Good evening, guys.
Thank you for calling in.
Absolutely. My pleasure.
So, Mayor, when we have a 7.1, 100 plus miles away, it is a big wake-up call for our city here in Los Angeles. What is foremost on your mind?
Well, first and foremost, I want to thank all the first responders who did an extraordinary job. And, you know, every time we drill, every plan that we have, they pay off in moments like this. And we have really extraordinary people. We are sending an urban search and rescue team from the Los Angeles Fire Department. They're assembling tonight, probably will be headed out either later tonight or first thing in the morning to assist and to make sure that folks who are much more heavily impacted in Kern County get the sort of expertise we have here. But the moment this happens, and it's happened 3 times at a level that has triggered this for us, our firefighters go out immediately. Every station empties. They go out and survey their entire city, and by the firehouses, each neighborhood gets assessed with a windshield survey. And no catastrophic damage here in Los Angeles, but we know there's always cumulative damage. So whether it's our port, the airport, our Department of Water and Power assets, we did have one circuit that was triggered. So we have teams that are out there. We expect in the valley where about 1,300 customers don't have electricity. That should be restored in the next 2 hours. But really just extraordinary professionals and a great reminder to all of us. Have a plan. Talk to your family at your place of work. Make sure you know where to go and what to do.
Mayor Garcetti, if you had something that you wanted to tell Kern County residents out there, what would you say to them?
I would say we are here with you. We live in the same region. You are our neighbors and our brothers and sisters, and Los Angeles is here to help. We know that they have done that with us. We've had Kern County firefighters helping us when we were fighting blazes here. We don't think twice about what town we're from or what city, just that we're fellow Americans and fellow human beings helping each other out. And, you know, our heart goes out to everybody as we assess the damage there, but help is on the way from L.A. Don't be scared. We're going to be there soon.
Mayor, it's been 25 years since Northridge, and we all assume that our buildings are safer than they were 25 years ago. But how much safer are they? And that's the first part of the question. The second part is, I remember about 3 years ago, there was an order that went out that a lot of apartment buildings where you have the carport that is created by the second level of that apartment building, those all had to be retrofitted within, I think it was 5 years. How are we doing there as well?
Well, you know, it's a great point you made. And early on when I became mayor, I said every mayor hopes nothing like this ever visits them on their watch. But I said I didn't want to be that mayor, or even in the future, that retired mayor who was a grandfather saying I could have done something to save lives. So I made the politically tough call of saying we did need to retrofit those soft-story buildings and some of those concrete buildings that collapsed, like in 1971 when we saw the Sylmar earthquake and a whole level of a hospital collapse, killing people. So it's going great so far. We've been able to figure out a way, working with Lucy Jones, who worked at City Hall. We came up with a plan shared between the folks who are the owners of those apartment buildings and the tenants together. And we've had thousands of them already underway. And that deadline of 5 years, which started a couple years ago, hopefully, you know, knock on wood, in the next 3 years, we'll have all of those done.
So would you say we're prepared?
I always say we're better prepared than anywhere else, which is to say we're still woefully unprepared, because there's always new people who move to town. There's new people who've been born here since the Northridge earthquake. And I think we rely too much on our equipment, our technology, thinking that there's always going to be a digital solution. I'll know how to text my family, be able to call my friends.
Right.
We know that you need to have an analog plan in a digital age, so I think we are better prepared than anywhere else, but this is a great reminder, a sober wake-up for all of us to spend that time with your family and your loved ones and make sure you know where to go and what to do, and to check on your vulnerable neighbors, seniors, people living with by themselves, people with disabilities, to always check on them, make sure they're doing okay.
Sure. One of the things that Dr. Lucy Jones just said was that the early warning system worked, but the system didn't communicate with the public, and one of the reasons, she said, is because the factor of earthquake, the factor of magnitude, was just not high enough. And she said that was a policy decision by the USGS. As mayor of Los Angeles, can you weigh in with the USGS and say, hey, we'd like to know even when they're a little lower?
Sure. I tremendously respect them, and we've been working with them actually just in the last couple of weeks to see whether we wanted to lower that threshold a little bit. But I think folks watching tonight can appreciate if you lower it too much and you're on an off-ramp or driving or people are in a crowded place and they suddenly panic and start going under tables or, swerving off the road, that can cause as much injuries. And I trust their scientific judgment about what is a level to make sure we don't have any panic or hysteria. But I'm always open to revisiting that. We've said in the last 24 hours, maybe we'll look at lowering that from 5.0 to 4.5 if they're willing to do that. So we'll look at those conversations. But again, for folks who are confused, it usually measures the level once it enters LA County. So even if you have a higher number elsewhere, that's probably why it was not triggered.
What kind of a post meeting will you call as a result of this, or will you, when it comes to reviewing what happened in Kern County and whether any of that information is relevant to us here in Los Angeles County?
We do it right away. So I've been holding regular, updates and briefings with my chief of police and fire of our emergency operations center, our airport and port, and Department of Water and Power, Bureau of Sanitation, all our key infrastructure. We'll now then do a tabletop look at this, at the beginning of the week. We also look at lessons learned in other places and what we can always do to improve. We'll get a lot of information in when a big earthquake happens immediately when those fire engines go out there and try to assess everything. They're tasked first with not stopping, but making sure that they see what the level of damage is and then serving the people out there. So we always look at ways of improving, but, I think the system actually worked quite well for all the training and the first responders that go through this. But it's really on us because there's only about 10,000 police officers and 3,300 firefighters in the city of Los Angeles, but there's 4 million people. And of course, Southern California has 18 million. So it's incumbent upon us to make sure we also go through our own lessons in our own household. Hey, honey, did you know where to call me? Did you know where to go if our phones didn't work, et cetera? And that can really help us all be a lot safer.
Los Angeles Mayor Eric Garcetti, we thank you so much for calling in and giving us that positivity, providing us that positivity at a time like this. Again, have a good weekend and be safe out there.
Thank you. It's going to be my first day off today, but, nature called. So
That's right.
tomorrow.
All right.
Okay. Thanks, guys.
All right.